the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening the gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we should get this show on the road. What do you think? Should we do this? I think we shall. We want to welcome everybody to the program tonight. My name is Ron Tyler. I welcome you to the show tonight. We're here for everyone here on the air today, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Thank you all for joining us, guys. We appreciate you being here. Now, guys, we have some things we need to talk about tonight. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Nancy Guthrie. Yes, I'm going to talk about earthquakes in just a few minutes. I'm going to talk about worldwide earthquakes, and then I'm going to talk about real movement on the New Madrid Fault today. Real movement on the New Madrid Fault today. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We've got you covered. We told you we'd bring earthquake coverage to you. We're going to do that today. I'm going to show you real movement on the New Madrid Fault. First thing I wanted you to know is what happened to Nancy Guthrie. Okay? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying one word about it. Not one word. What I believe has happened is that they kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. They took her out of her house. Everybody knows that. But what you don't know is who Nancy Guthrie is. She's an employee of a company monitoring Medicaid payments, monitoring what the government is paying to clients, monitoring what the government is paying to companies in terms of Medicaid and Medicare. Okay? She's been reporting it. She's been reporting discrepancies to the government. She works specifically for a company. I'm not going to put it out on the air right now because I don't want to foil the investigation. Okay? but she works for a Medicaid company. She found a bunch of discrepancies. She's been reporting them. Millions of dollars of discrepancies. Millions of dollars of discrepancies, guys. That's why they took her. I'm totally convinced of it. Now I have the story. Okay? I believe there's only one other agency that's reporting this today. But she got taken because of that company, because of her relationship, what she's been doing, reporting deficiencies in payments to companies that don't give a crap. Companies that have been ripping the government off. That's why she was taken. I'm totally convinced of it. Okay? In reporting those deficiencies, those discrepancies, she has kept spreadsheets of everything. What happened on the night she was taken? Saturday night, Sunday morning. The first discrepancy that happened was Saturday night, about 11:30, 11:37 Saturday evening. Someone was on her property. They parked their car on the outside of her property, on the street area. It was a dirt and gravel street. Okay? They parked their car way out there. Okay? You saw the individual come up on her property. I showed you the video last night. Okay? The FBI, working with Google and Nest, were able to pull the information off the camera, and the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office reported it. But what they didn't tell you is they got in. Whoever it was got in. They don't know specifically who it was. Okay? Last night, the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI made a traffic stop. About 1 hour south of Tucson, Arizona, a place called Rio Pico. Actually, I'm sorry, not Rio Pico, Rio Rico. 1 hour south of Tucson, Arizona. They detained the suspect that was driving. They detained him until the early hours of this morning. Then they released him. Okay? They don't believe that subject was connected to the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. However, someone did. Someone did. Guys, Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped because of what she did. Okay? She was getting paid about $65,000 a year to do the job. Someone didn't like it. Someone at her company decided they don't want her around. They didn't want her around at all because she was blowing the whistle on them. But what you don't know, I found out this morning. In her drawer, she had a hard disk from her computer. She kept pulling it out every time she used her computer and got finished. She pulled the hard disk out and took it and put it in a drawer. Guess what's missing? Nancy Guthrie and the hard disk. The hard disk is missing. Now, something that doesn't make any sense at all yet. Okay? Yet. Out in the middle of a desert at a trailhead. I shouldn't say at the trailhead, but further into a trail. Okay? A body was found out in the middle of the desert. Mountain lions had been making a feast on the body. Now, at first discovery of the body, Fish and Game, or Game and Fisheries, was out there. 3 mountain lions were feasting on the body. They killed the mountain lions. The one mountain lion was the adult, they believe was a mother. The other 2 were small cubs, mountain lion cubs, but they killed all 3 of them. The 2 little cubs didn't have any part of feasting on the body, but the mother did. Okay? There's DNA out there. Now, when they first discovered the body last night, the body was wearing clothes similar to what Miss Guthrie was wearing. They have not made a complete identification as of yet, or they're at least not telling us. Okay, they're not telling us. Why does this make a difference? Number one, this involves a family, a mother, a parent who had been showing or found documentation of the government making payments to a company that was ripping off the government. That's why she was kidnapped. I believe the FBI knows about it. Pima County Sheriff's knows about it. But what they need to do is now catch the kidnappers. Now, I understand from third-hand information. I'm just throwing this out here. The head of the company is no longer there. He left the company. But Nancy Guthrie had reported what was going on. I believe that was the reason for the kidnapping. Now, I don't know where she is. I have no idea. But what I do know is that our FBI has also issued another $50,000 reward for the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie and the recovery of Nancy Guthrie. Okay, the Pima County Sheriff's Office last week offered a $50,000 reward. Now the FBI has also offered another $50,000 reward for information leading to this discovery of Nancy Guthrie and her return. Okay, that's what's going on. Again, the person that they had detained out on the roadway south of Tucson was released after questioning. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Do you have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? I've been doing a lot of research since early this morning to have this information today, and I wanted to pass it on to all of you. I believe our audience deserves answers. That's why I'm on the air today. That's why I am always on the air every day that I can come on the air. Now, guys, I think I've only missed actuality. I think I've only missed 5 days in 7 years. I've only missed 5 regular days of broadcasting because I was ill. 5 days in 7 years. Okay? I've been on the air for all of you. I've been on the air for all of you because I want to keep everybody safe. I want everybody to have as much information as they need to have to make decisions for your families and yourselves. That's why we are on the air. We don't just report earthquakes. That's just one of the things that we do. We report about all kinds of emergencies, all kinds of disasters worldwide. We've talked about fires. We've talked about rainstorms. We talked about tornadoes. We talked about hurricanes. We've talked about winter blizzards. We've talked about buildings exploding, oil refineries exploding, shootings, all kinds of things that were involved in emergencies. We've done that. Why? Because you all need to know what's going on. You all need to know what's going on. That's what Emergency Management Associates is all about. Giving you information you can deal with to make decisions for your safety and your own family. That's what we do. I spent many, many years of my life planning for disasters, planning for emergencies, writing and discussing and giving people emergency plans. I've written emergency plans for companies. I have written emergency plans for churches. I have written emergency plans for neighborhoods and cities. been around a long time now. Today, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm out talking to the public, telling people what's going on, trying to give people the information they need to make decisions on their own safety for the safety of themselves and their families. That's what Emergency Management Associates is all about. We talk about earthquakes all around the world, literally all around the world. We're going to do that again today, right now. The first thing I'm going to do is bring up the USGS map very quickly. I'm not going to go over all the earthquakes around the globe because USGS, frankly, isn't talking about it. They never will. They hide earthquakes. They have no intention of being honest about anything. Nothing at all. That's not what the USGS does. They hide. They hide, guys. Now, yesterday I told you about an earthquake over here just east of the Kamchatka Peninsula. Kamchatka belongs to Russia. We had a 5.2 earthquake out here on this fault zone. Fault zone coming out of Japan. Further south, coming out of Taiwan. Further south from there, Indonesia. The Philippines and Indonesia. Seismic energy follows the plates. Follows the edge of the plates, guys. Today, just off the southeast coast of Kamchatka Peninsula, we have a 4.7. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. The 5.2 earthquake that was north of there, yesterday has now gone over into the Aleutian Islands. Let me show you this earthquake. You might be surprised about what's happened today. Look where this earthquake is today. We have a 5.0 earthquake over here in the Aleutian Island chain. This is the 5.0 large earthquake, about 96.4 miles north of Aveyah, Alaska. Northwest of Aveyah, Alaska. Okay, as I said before, seismic energy follows the edge of the plates. Off the Kamchatka Peninsula was the edge of the plate, between the Okhotsk Plate and the Pacific Plate. Now we're talking the Bering Sea and the Pacific Plate here. Bering Sea off to the north here, and to the south, the Pacific Plate. This is on the edge of the Pacific Plate. 5.0 large earthquake. That's what happens. Now, just briefly, I'm just going to touch on this briefly. Okay? There is a lot of energy here in Alaska. There's a ton of energy here in Alaska, guys. Notice all the energy going up the Alaska Peninsula to the west. Right here. Okay? This is south of Mount Redoubt, Alaska. Mount Redoubt, the volcano. This is a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 minor earthquake. Just south there is another 2.1. Let's go further north. Right here. USGS is calling this a 0.7 microquake. Where at? Mount Redoubt volcano. They have this as 41 miles west-northwest of Beluga, Alaska. This is at Mount Redoubt volcano. Okay. Here's Anchorage, Alaska, where my mother's brother Mel and his wife used to live. Northwest of Anchorage is a 2.6 earthquake here. USGS is saying this is east-southeast of Big Lake, Alaska. I think this is actually west-southwest of Big Lake, Alaska, a 2.6 earthquake. Why do I differ on the directions? Because USGS doesn't tell us the truth. We've seen that before. This is a 2.6 earthquake. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Going north. This is near Meadow Lakes, Alaska. 2.3 earthquake near Meadow Lakes, Alaska. Guess what? It's not the only earthquake here. This is the 1.7 tremor here. 1.7 tremor here. 6 miles southeast of Meadow Lakes, Alaska. But there's something else more troubling. Actually, a couple different things. Guess what? This is over in Denali, Alaska. Denali, Alaska. It's at that famous mountain, Mount McKinley. A 2.1 earthquake at Mount McKinley today. Over here to the east, northeast, this is a 1.0 earthquake here. Okay? But more troubling. I want to go up here to the north. Just south of Alaska's North Shore where the oil drilling is in progress. This is a 3.1 earthquake here. This is a 3.1 earthquake 41 miles southwest of Katavik, Alaska. North Shore oil drilling here in Alaska. 3.1 earthquake. Why do I think this is concerning? If you remember, back in July 2019, we had a 7.1 earthquake on July 4th and July 5th. 2 earthquakes, 2 separate and distinct earthquakes. USGS, there were 2 6.9 earthquakes. USGS took 1 down, made it disappear. I still have records of both of the earthquakes. They took 1 down and made the other disappear. I shouldn't say that. They took 1 down and kept the other. On the 5th of July, there was a 7.1 earthquake over in California. Ridgecrest, California. 3 days before that earthquake, 3 days before the Ridgecrest earthquake, we had a 5.1 earthquake here in the same location near Katavik, Alaska. I monitor this religiously. I want to make sure everybody's safe. If we're going to have a major earthquake again, Ridgecrest or anywhere else, I want to have the up-to-date information. That's why I keep an eye on Katavik, Alaska. It might not be anything, but it could be something. That's why I keep an active eye on Katavik, Alaska. We don't usually have earthquakes here in Katavik, Alaska. That's a known fact. But when these earthquakes do happen, we usually also have other earthquakes that are prominent. We need to keep an eye on. I'm doing that for you as well. Now, let's go down to California. I'm going to go down here to California. Off the coast of Petroleum, California, Northern California, in the Southern Cascadia Subduction Zone. The Southern Cascadia Subduction Zone region on the San Andreas Fault. This is a 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 earthquake 6 miles west-northwest of Petroleum, California on the San Andreas Fault. Just to remind all of those that might be new to our program, the San Andreas Fault starts up here, what they call the Triple Junction, where the Cascadia Subduction Zone, the Gorda Escarpment that runs east and west away from the coast of California, and the San Andreas Fault. That's where this earthquake is today. To the north, Similar earthquake, but this is a 2.0 minor earthquake. Fortuna, California. Still in the Cascade Subduction Zone region. In the southern Cascade Subduction Zone region. Okay? Now I'm backing this out so you can see the entire area here. The USGS is not showing any of the earthquakes off the coast of Oregon or California or Washington. Nothing. Nothing. For kicks and giggles, going up here in Oregon, Scappoose, Oregon, just south of Washington, we have a 2.1 earthquake here. Again, Mount Hood here. Mount Hood here. They are not showing anything going on, but there are earthquakes here at Mount Hood every day. They're not showing anything going on. We have another event happen here. I love poking fun at the USGS because 9 times out of 10, they are absolutely wrong. 9 times out of 10, the USGS is wrong when they say this. They said there was an explosion, a 1.2 tremor explosion, 1 mile west-southwest of Yakult, Washington. Look where this earthquake is. Guys, look where this earthquake is. It's in wooded area. As I said before, if the United States Geological Survey sees an explosion, they must be using dynamite, explosives to remove trees. They don't do that. They don't do that. What is this? Spontaneous combustus carnivorous, exploding trees. No, it's not really. However, this is about as good an explanation as anybody's ever given. Because USGS continues to lie. Lie, cheat, and steal. That's what they do best. That earthquake in Washington, is nothing but a fable, a lie, an absolute lie. This was a 1.2 tremor, an earthquake, west-southwest of Yakult, Washington, in a forested area. Okay? I've caught this USGS in lies before about this very same thing. That's why I can say that. Notice where Amboy, Washington is. Notice where Amboy, Washington is. Let's move over here to Mount Rainier. USGS is saying this is 24 miles north-northeast of Amboy, Washington. I just got through showing you where Amboy, Washington is. This is nowhere near Amboy, Washington. I don't give a flying rat's butt what USGS says here. Why are they saying it? Because they don't want anybody to know this is at a volcano. All people have to do is say, what is this? What is this huge mountain over here in Washington? They look closely, they find out it's Mount Rainier, a volcano. USGS is identifying this earthquake as a 0.1 microquake at Mount Rainier, along with one other event here. This time they're saying this is at minus 0.1 microquake, above sea level. Minus numbers indicate above sea level. But guess what? Guess what? This is 2.7 miles beneath the volcano. 2.7 miles beneath the volcano. This is not above sea level at all. It's also not a microquake. USGS has tons, not USGS, but Mount Rainier also has tons of, excuse me, they have tons of microquakes. They have tons of tremors. They have tons of minor earthquakes as well, 2.0, 2.9. Tremors from 1.0, 1.9. Mount Rainier every day has at least one 3.0, 3.5 earthquake every day. Small 3.0, 3.5 earthquake every day, at least one. The same thing with Mount St. Helens. But again, will they ever say that? Heck no. Because they want everybody to believe nothing's going on. And I'm sorry, this is not Mount Rainier, this is Mount St. Helens. This Mount St. Helens. To the north, they're not showing anything here at Mount Rainier at all. Nothing. That's a fallacy. Both Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens are having earthquakes every day. Without fail. Happens. But again, USGS is not talking about it. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid they tell the truth. They hardly talk about earthquakes anywhere around Washington, Oregon, especially along the coast. They know what's going to happen here. Tomorrow we're going to talk about earthquakes up here in the Pacific Northwest, along with what is the Cascade subduction zone. Why do we believe there's going to be a major earthquake here? We're going to talk about that tomorrow night. But I want to show you this because I think it's important. Let's go here to the south here. Okay. This earthquake sequence right here is again at the Geysers geothermal facility, where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to the north. This is the Clear Lake volcano here. Notice where Lakeport is? Nice, Lucerne, Kelseyville here. All these towns here and more are south and east and west of Clear Lake, a volcano. Men have gone down here in Sonoma County, California, drilled holes in the ground, drilled holes in the upper magma chambers of Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam, to generate electricity. In doing so, we know what happens when they drill holes in the ground. Man-made earthquake faults, guys, man-made earthquake faults. Seismic energy comes off the Pacific plate over here to the North American plate. When that seismic energy finds faults in the ground, it ruptures or fractures the hole, fractures rock inside the hole, causing ground movement. In other words, an earthquake. That's what's going on here in the Geysers facility every day. Every day we have anywhere from 20 to 30 earthquakes a day. Yesterday we had over 100 earthquakes. Over 100 earthquakes here today, or yesterday. Today there's maybe 20. 20 is normal. You see two blobs here, two round spots here. The red spots indicate brand new earthquakes. Brand new earthquakes that list on the map for about 45 minutes. This is a 1.4 tremor here. This is a 0.3 microquake. Again, in a geothermal facility that's called the Geysers. The Geysers. At least 4 different distinct electrical conglomerates pull power from the Geysers facility. Rocky Mountain Power from Utah pulls power from the Geysers. Southern California Edison. Pacific Gas and Electric, not at least one other conglomerate. There are 81 different turbines being powered by steam from this volcano. 81 different turbines throughout this facility that turn steam into electricity. Whenever I'm in this area, I try to show you what's going on here. This facility here where you see turbines is just one of the facilities. There are a total of 81 turbines here in the Geysers facility here. 81 turbines throughout this facility here. This is just 8 of them. This is just 8 of the 81 turbines in this area. There are more. For example, right here, there are 10 turbines in this facility right here. Like I said, there are turbines throughout this whole facility, all over the mountains here in Sonoma County, California. Where you see these earthquakes, it's where man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of the volcano to obtain steam to power those turbines. Okay? It's called rock fracturing. Rock fracturing here. Okay? South there, let's go down to San Francisco Bay. Let's go down to San Francisco Bay here. Down here in the bay, to the northwest of the bay. See this earthquake right here? What do we have? This is a 1.8 tremor here. It's a quarry. This is a quarry. Santa Benicia, California, 1.8 tremor. Now, when I first discovered this years ago, I saw there were earthquakes here in this area at the quarry. I'm going, what in the heck are they doing? Having a quarry here, digging a quarry, blasting rock at San Francisco Bay. I thought to myself, my gosh, they're just waiting for the water from San Francisco Bay to float in here to the quarry. Might have already happened, I don't know. But every time I see a quarry here, I get really nervous. Look where this blast occurred. Literally right on the edge of the quarry. That's wild. That's wild. 1.8 blast here at Santa Benicia, California at the quarry. It's not the first time. This has happened quite a bit during the past 7 years that we've been on the air. Now, we go out here to the east. Okay? West of the San Francisco Bay, we have the Hayward Fault. Right here. This is the Hayward Fault. East of San Francisco Bay, we have the Clear Lake, or not Clear Lake, I'm sorry. We have the Calaveras Fault. The Calaveras Fault. Okay? Now you don't see any earthquakes here between the Calaveras and the San Francisco Bay. We have one earthquake here. Bridgeport, California. You don't see an earthquake at San Ramon at all today. At least they're not reporting it. USGS is not reporting it. We've had earthquakes here for over 2 weeks now, since the last time we had a 4.5 in San Ramon. All the earthquakes since that 4.5 hit have been aftershocks. Even then, when they had a 4.5 in San Ramon this time, they downgraded to 4.2. Heaven forbid that the United States Geological Survey is going to tell the truth. They don't want anybody to know what's going on here at all. Let's go south here. Southeast of Monterey Bay here. Ridgemar, California. On the San Andreas Fault. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. We go south there. The Pinnacles, guys. The Pinnacles here is a 2.4 earthquake, but yes, it is on the San Andreas Fault, but it also have oil and gas operations going on here at the Pinnacles. Oil and gas operations happening here at the Pinnacles. These earthquakes are quite normal. Quite normal. We continue southbound here. This time on a different fault. This time over here at San Luis Obispo. I spent a great deal of time myself in San Luis Obispo myself. Earthquakes are common. This time a 2.2 earthquake here. 2.2 earthquake here. The same fault that goes down here to Santa Maria, California. I almost lived in Santa Maria, California when I was a young man. Before we moved to San Diego from Fargo, North Dakota, my parents came down here to visit one of my dad's friends who worked for the same company my dad did. My dad was an assistant manager of the company in Fargo, North Dakota. If my dad had visited with his friend and his friend said that he and his family were moving to San Diego, if that hadn't happened, we would have lived in Santa Maria, California. I love Santa Maria. It's a very beautiful area, very quaint area. But we have earthquakes here. Lots and lots of earthquakes. Look at here. We talked somewhat about earthquakes here in Los Angeles County yesterday. However, USGS and Caltech have decided not to talk about earthquakes anymore. They don't want to show everybody what's going on here. But they did admit to having 486 earthquakes here in the LA area, the greater LA area, yesterday. 486 earthquakes a day here in LA area. Off the coast of Los Angeles, Hermosa Beach, California. 2.0 earthquake here. We go inland here. Yorba Linda, California. 1.3 tremor here. Almost directly north. This is a 0.8 microquake. Laverne, California. Down here to the southeast. Fontana, California. Fontana, California, guys. What do we have here? What do we have here? USGS says there's 1.1 tremor. Here in Fontana, we have hundreds of 1.1 tremors here in Fontana. Hundreds of minor earthquakes. Hundreds of tremors. As of late, almost every day there are 3.0 earthquakes here in Fontana. And USGS only wants to talk about a tremor here. They are lying through their teeth about what's going on here in Fontana. Lying through their teeth. Fontana is being influenced by the San Jacinto Fault and the San Andreas to the east. 3.0 earthquakes here in Fontana today, I can guarantee it. To the south, on the San Jacinto Fault, Moreno Valley, 1.0 tremor here. Over here to the southwest, Home Gardens, California, just southeast of Corona. Home Gardens, California, guys, 1.4 tremor here. 1.4 tremor here. Now, right before the Ridgecrest earthquake, there were tons of earthquakes here. Not just tremors, but full-blown 2.0, 2.9, 3.0, 4.5, even large 5.0 earthquakes here in Home Gardens, California. Today we have 1.4 tremor. That's normal. That's completely normal for this area. Okay? But again, it's not the only earthquake here. This is that Moreno Valley quake right there. Okay? Let's go further south on the San Jacinto. Val Vista, California. San Bernardino, California area. 1.4 tremor here. This is a 0.3 microquake. Idlewild, California. 6 miles southwest of Idlewild, California. Out here to the east, 1.1 tremor, 4 miles south of Idlewild, California, in the San Bernardino Mountains. Interesting. Further to the south, look what fault we're on. Look what fault we're on. The San Jacinto is 0.7 microquake. The Anza Gap, the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County, 0.7 microquake. Further to the south here, 0.1 microquake. Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. Then we go way out here to the south here. Julian, California. Here we have a 1.0 tremor here. This is East County, San Diego County, or East San Diego County here. Julian, California. Last year at this time, we had a 5.0 large earthquake. This is a 1.0 tremor aftershock from that large quake last year. Further to the south here, this is 11 miles southeast of Julian. This is a 0.5 microquake, possibly even an aftershock of the 5.1 earthquake here in Julian, California last year. Okay, let's go further south here. Now we're talking about the border, the US-Mexico border. This appears it's right at the border, just barely north of the border. USGS is saying this is east of Campo, 7 miles east of Campo, California. Campo, California is southeast of San Diego City. Campo, California might be a town of 2,500 people. Okay, 1.5 tremor here right at the border. That's pretty much normal. This area has all kinds of tremors and even minor earthquakes here. All the time. All the time. Now I'm going to take you further south to the border here. Yes, there is an earthquake in the Imperial Valley I want to talk about in a minute. But down here south of the border, this is important. Just like I reported earthquakes at the geysers a few minutes ago. This is a geothermal facility here in northern Mexico. Okay, what's going on here? Look at the earthquakes all over here. This is the 4.2 minor earthquake or moderate earthquake here. 4.2 moderate earthquake here. To the north, 3.4, 2.2. They're minor earthquakes in terms here. Here's a 2.7. This is a 2.1. This is a 2.9, 3.0. Out here is the southeast. This is also 2.0. This is at the geothermal facility here in Mexico. What's going on? Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Cerro Prieto volcano right here. Cerro Prieto volcano right here. South of the United States, south of the Imperial Valley. Men from Mexico have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Cerro Prieto volcano to obtain steam, to generate electricity here in northern Mexico. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on. This is just one of the geothermal facilities here. This is another one right there. Okay? Wherever you see these geothermal facilities, you're going to have earthquakes. Because seismic energy comes off the Pacific plate looking for an earthquake fault. Does not matter whether it's a natural fault or a man-made fault. Man-made faults are holes in the ground made by men, humans. Sometimes we induce earthquakes just by being here. Just by being here. Other times we induce earthquakes by drilling into the ground. That's why we have earthquakes here. That's why we would have earthquakes here. Let's go north here. Again, over here to the southern Imperial Valley. We have another earthquake here. Okay. Yesterday we had another earthquake here. Yesterday was a 2.5. This is a 2.7 minor earthquake near Brawley, California. Near Brawley, California. I told you my story about Brawley, California, so I'm not going to get into that today. Earthquakes here in Brawley, California. But again, USGS is showing one earthquake. There are over 500 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley every day. Over 500 earthquakes a day here in the Imperial Valley. Up here in Calipatria. Good old Calipatria here. There was a seismograph reporting at least 175 to 150 earthquakes a day. They turned it off. USGS turned it off. Over here to the southwest, Westmoreland, California. There was a seismograph reporting earthquakes here. About 50 to 60 earthquakes here a day. Westmoreland, California. Interesting, huh? It really is. Bombay Beach. They've now turned this off as well. Here at Bombay Beach, we're having 3.0s, small earthquakes, 3.0, 3.9, 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes happening every day. Every day, not just one earthquake, but 15 to 20 3.0 large earthquakes every day. Bombay Beach, California. On the San Andreas Fault here. That's where the San Andreas Fault is, right here at Bombay Beach. Yet they're telling us nothing's happening here. They are lying through their teeth. Absolutely lying through their teeth. Further southwest of Brawley, we come to a town called Imperial. We come to a town called Imperial. They had a seismograph reporting earthquakes here. 50 to 60 earthquakes a day. They shut it down as well. We come further down here to the south, we have El Centro, California. One of our own EMA family members lives here in El Centro, Juanito. Juanito and his family live here. We've been having multiple 3.0 earthquakes here every day. 10 to 30 3.0 earthquakes a day, small earthquakes here. Small earthquakes every day, as well as minor tremors and minor earthquakes as well. But they're hiding this information as well. They don't want anybody to know what's going on, but they report one tremor over at Brawley, near Brawley, California. That's fine and good. But again, they're hiding earthquakes. They're hiding earthquakes. We go over here at Holtville. They have a seismograph over here at Holtville. It's in the Salton Sea Desert Research Station here in Holtville. Kind of a museum. They have 50 to 60 earthquakes a day here in Holtville. From tremors, actually microquakes, tremors, minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9, 3.0, 3.5 here and every day here in Holtville. Why are they hiding the information again? Because I have been reporting it. I am the only agency reporting this information to the public. Now they've taken this information down because the agency doesn't want it reported. The agency doesn't want to report it. We talk about it every day. Every day. We talked about earthquakes here in the United States. We talked over at Kamchatka Peninsula as well. Let's go over here to Japan real quickly. Talking about Japan here. Over here off the Kuril Islands, just east of the Kuril Islands of blowing Russia. We have a 5.0 earthquake here today. 5.0 earthquake here. On the fault line, the same fault line coming out of the Philippines and Indonesia to the south. Coming up here to Japan. Coming here to Kamchatka Peninsula and over to the Aleutian Islands. Again, on the edge of the plate. The edge of the tectonic plate here. 5.0 earthquake here. Look at this one. This is in the southern Kuril Islands here. This is a 5.1 earthquake here. 50 miles northeast of Shikotan, Kuril Islands, Russia. 5.1 earthquake here. So today we have two 5.0 large earthquakes here. A moderate earthquake to the north over off the coast of Kamchatka Peninsula. We're going to see all this energy work its way over here to the Aleutian Island fault zone. Not to be outdone. Off the northeast coast of Honshu, Japan, south of Hokkaido, Japan, we have another 5.0 earthquake here. 3 5.0 earthquakes within about a 3,000 mile area. 3,000 mile area. 3 5.0 large earthquakes here. What you need to know about all three of these earthquakes. I did my research. This 5.1 earthquake here was actually 5.3, 5.5. This earthquake to the northeast, this is a 5.2, not a 5.1 or 5.0. This earthquake over here off the northeast shore of Honshu, Japan, they have it now reported as a 4.9. This is a 5.4 earthquake. This is a large 5.4 earthquake. They've hidden the information. They're hiding it. I checked the back seismology study page on these earthquakes. I found that the earthquake energy was larger than they are showing you here. That's what they normally do. Hiding earthquake energy. They don't want anybody to know how large these earthquakes are. What's going on or not going on here in Indonesia? 48 earthquakes here in Indonesia today. Why are they not showing them? They're showing us one earthquake here in Indonesia. 4.7 earthquake here in Timor-Leste, Indonesia. This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. It's insane. We go over here to Papua New Guinea. This is a large 5.1 earthquake here in Papua New Guinea. Pretty much normal. They have large earthquakes here all the time, at least once or twice a week. Look where it's at. Look where it's at. It's on an island, guys. It's on an island. Now, there may or may not be people living here. Some of these islands here in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea are unoccupied. They're unoccupied. But this is a large 5.1 earthquake. If people do live here, they were very adversely affected by this earthquake. They were very adversely affected by this earthquake. They're showing actually 2, 3, 4 towns, 5 towns right here. This is true, people all over this area from Papua New Guinea. They don't have much money. I've said before, they make maybe $300 a year. They live in mud huts. They live in cardboard huts. They live in wooden huts with their homes covered by tarps. plastic tarps. I've seen the pictures. They all were adversely affected by this earthquake. 5.1 earthquake here in Papua New Guinea today. Sad. Sad. Over here is a 4.6. 4.6 moderate earthquake here. On land again. A moderate earthquake here can be very, very disgusting. Disgusting because it would adversely affect people here as well. 4.0 normally knocks pictures off of shelves, knickknacks and books off of shelves, pictures off of walls, rattle dishes and cupboards. People in this area don't have that luxury. This earthquake can be very deadly to those people as well. Okay. One other earthquake over here in the ocean. This is a 4.6 over here in the Solomon Islands, in the ocean. Nobody felt this earthquake. The ocean waters here absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. People here got lucky. Go over here south of Fiji. This is another 4.6 earthquake here. They say this is west of Huhuma Tonga. West of Huhuma Tonga. Southern Fiji area. 4.6 earthquake here. 246 kilometers deep. 246 kilometers deep. This is not a deep earthquake. This is a moderately deep earthquake. Very deep earthquakes have adverse effects on anyone in this area. Why? Because very deep earthquakes, 500 kilometers deep or deeper, can birth other larger shallower quakes. That's not going to happen in this case. This is a 4.6 relatively shallow quake. Relatively shallow quake. Okay? Hawaii. Let's briefly go over here to Hawaii. Yes, we have earthquakes here. Off the southeast shore of the Big Island, we have a 2.4 earthquake here. Southeast of Pahala, Hawaii, 2.4 earthquake. Guys, we have underwater volcanoes here. We have undersea volcanoes here. 2.4 earthquake there. This is 1.7 tremor here. This is another 1.7 tremor here. What is going on here, guys? What's going on here? Let's back out here away from Hawaii. Let's go back out here into the Southern Pacific Ocean. Down here in the South Pacific, there is a very deep magma plume coming from the center of the Earth. The magma plume here supplies all of the magma for all of the volcanoes around the world. All of the volcanoes around the world receive magma from this magma plume here. Even up here in Hawaii. Even up here in Hawaii. Now, just before we go back to Hawaii, we just got through having another earthquake here. Okay? Just south of Taiwan, north of Luzon, Philippines. This is a large 5.3 earthquake that just happened. This just barely happened in Luzon Strait here, between Taiwan and the Philippines. Large 5.3 earthquake just happened. Okay? We report earthquakes when they happen. Let's go back here to Hawaii. Okay? Yes, we have undersea volcanoes here off the southeast shore of Pahala, Hawaii. What you might not know, I've been preaching this for years now. But over here in the Pahala, Hawaii area, Pahala, P-A-H-A-L-L-A, Pahala, Hawaii. Down here is Pahala, Hawaii, right there. This is a small city. One of our own EMA family members has a grandson that graduated from Pahala High School this past year. Okay? But what's going on over here in this area here? Okay? All that magma coming from the magma plume over the Big Island. This is like a magma gas station. The magma comes up from the deep magma plume under the ocean in the southern Pacific, comes up here to Pahala. Then here in Pahala, the magma is distributed to the different volcanoes. Magma is distributed to the different volcanoes over here in the Pahala area. That's what's going on here. All of these earthquakes are a result of underground magma here in Hawaii on the Big Island. This is a 1.8 tremor here. This is a 2.1 earthquake. This is a 1.7 tremor here. This is a 1.9 2.0. Over here to the northeast, this is another 2.0, and this is 1.7. The magma from the South Pacific comes up here, and it's distributed to all the other volcanoes around the Big Island. We have another earthquake here, caused by magma down beneath the surface. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Okay? Again, magma coming from Pahala out here. From here, the magma channels run up here into the fern forest area. Then they come up also over here to Leilani Estates. Leilani Estates here. Look at all these lava plumes. This is toxic gas. Sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide gas here from years ago, from 2019. That's how long this satellite photograph has existed. USGS has not updated this photograph. 7 years ago, nearly 7 years ago, the lava that was in Kilauea volcano here to the southwest here, Kilauea volcano emptied out its lava in the volcano in Halemaumau crater. Also further to the south here, Pu'u'o volcano also emptied out its lava. For several days, scientists wondered what happened to the lava. Several days later, all of a sudden out of nowhere, big fissures started erupting here in fern forest, going up here into Leilani Estates. A total of 24 different fissures opened up. Over a period of time, those fissures died down. So those fissures died down to nothing more than craters left. Craters and cones. Now some of those cones and craters now named volcanoes. The Hawaiian people named those volcanoes here in Leilani Estates and fern forest. That's what happened here. Off the coast of Leilani Estates up here, we have another earthquake, a 2.4 earthquake. 2.4 earthquake 7 miles south of Leilani Estates. I still believe there's probably an underwater volcano or a magma channel up here. Yeah, a magma channel up here as well. Why not? The Big Island of Hawaii was manufactured from what? A volcano. Now there are several other named volcanoes here on this island. Not just from when the Hawaiian people named these volcanoes after the 2019 eruption. Over here, guess what? Mauna Loa. This is actually Mauna Loa crater here. Further to the south here is the spine of the volcano. This is a 0.8 microquake here, coming from Mauna Loa volcano. What you don't know is what they don't tell us. If I went to the seismograms here on the Big Island, we would see a lot of earthquakes. Lots and lots of earthquakes here in Mauna Loa. We see lots and lots of earthquakes over here at Kilauea, because there are. But further north, Mauna Kea here. Mauna Kea volcano is right there. Mauna Kea has even more earthquakes at Mauna Kea than Mauna Loa. Yeah. Mauna Loa erupted about 2 years ago. Short-lived eruption, but still an eruption at Mauna Loa. But Mauna Kea still hasn't erupted. But there are more earthquakes here at Mauna Kea than at Mauna Loa. Fact. One other earthquake here. Okay? This earthquake is a 1.8 tremor here. 4 miles northeast of Puako, Hawaii. What they're not saying is there's another volcano here. It's called Waialae volcano. Waialae volcano. This 1.8 tremor may be a result of that volcano. As a result of that volcano, magma around that volcano may have caused this minor tremor. Okay, may have caused that minor tremor. It's happened before. Further to the southwest of the Big Island, we continue to see earthquakes here. This is about the third earthquake we've seen here in the last 6 months. This is a 2.6 earthquake here. Off the Big Island from Captain Cook, Hawaii. 26 miles southwest of Captain Hook, Hawaii. Okay? That's what's happening here. Just so you know. Okay? Now let's go take a look at what is going on the Nomad Fault. Occasionally the USGS shows earthquakes here, but they're not showing anything here. They're not showing one single earthquake here on the Nomad Fault. That means they're lying, because I have evidence of what's going on here. I captured the evidence earlier before this program came on the air. I'm going to show you that evidence right now. Let's take down the USGS map here. Okay? You got a webcam here. Okay? Let's show you what's going on here at New Madrid. This is going to be interesting, guys. Pay close attention. There are all kinds of earthquakes here on the Nomad Fault. What you're seeing here are minor earthquakes and tremors here. Minor earthquakes and tremors here at Beautiful Lake, Arkansas. Beautiful Lake, Arkansas. Usually we don't show this diagram because there's nothing to show. But today, you see some tremors. You see at least one 2.2 earthquake here. One 2.2 earthquake here just after 4:18 a.m. this morning. 4:18 a.m. this morning. 2.2 earthquake here at Beautiful Lake, Arkansas. Interesting. Let's go over to Catfish Pond, Arkansas, right next to the Nomad Fault. Look at this. In the past, we've seen good-sized earthquakes. We've seen minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. We've seen 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes here at Catfish Pond. Okay? All we are showing you here are tremors here. Just tremors here at Catfish Pond. Let's look at Catfish Pond this afternoon. The same thing. Even less activity here. But it's not over. Hatachikoon, Arkansas, guys. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago we had, actually 3 weeks ago we had 3.0 earthquakes here at Hatachikoon. This is about 50 miles west of the Nomad Fault. Today at Hatachikoon, all we have here are some tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes. One earthquake such as that is after 8:50 a.m. this morning on the green line here. On the green line, about 8:50, 8:51. 2.3 earthquake. Then after that, 9:44 a.m. on the blue line here on the right-hand side. Another 2.2 earthquake. Then you see some other tremors here. And at approximately 11:49 a.m. this morning, 11:40, actually, it's about 11:52 a.m., 11:52. Another 2.2 earthquake here. Atachikun, Arkansas. How about this afternoon? Look at this afternoon. Just after 12 noon, 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Guess what? That seismic energy stuck around for about 40 seconds. Minor seismic energy stuck around for about 40 seconds. Then dissipated, just tremors here. Atachikun. Again, 3 weeks ago, we had 3.0 earthquakes here, small earthquakes. Okay. Little River, Arkansas. This morning, minor long duration tremor activity here. Minor long duration tremors. It's minor because it doesn't get over about 2.2, 2.3. I'm not saying 1.2, 1.3. 1.0, 1.9 are tremors. This doesn't get over 1.3 tremors here. Okay. Then we jump over here this afternoon. Look what happened here. About 1:13, right before 1:14 this afternoon. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Little River, Arkansas. After that, we have a 2.3 minor earthquake. Then more tremors after that. Let's go further south. Let's go over to Manila, South Arkansas. Manila, South Arkansas. This afternoon, on the red line here, this is 12:15 this afternoon, almost 12:16. 1.8, 1.9 tremor. Then at 1:15, 1:16, 1:17, tremors. Over here about 1:23 a.m. or 1:23 p.m. this afternoon, more tremors. Interesting. Let's go over to Marktree, Arkansas. Look what happened today at Marktree, Arkansas. The beginning of the morning, midnight on the top line. Nothing but tiny tremors. 12:15 to 12:30 this morning. Tiny tremors. 12:30, more tiny tremors. Then at 12:31, tremors got a little bit larger. 1.2, 1.3 tremors there. Then after 1:36 a.m. this morning, 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Maybe 1:36, 1:37 this morning. 2.4, 2.5, minor earthquake. Then what happened? After 4 a.m. this morning, okay, about 4:05 this morning, tremors building up to minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes building up to 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes. This tremor sequence turning into earthquakes lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. 5-minute seismic sequence here. Then again, after 4:45 this morning, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? At approximately 4:49, we had tremors. 4:50, those tremors turned into minor earthquakes. 4:51, just after 4:51, all of a sudden we had 3.0 small earthquakes. Then we had minor earthquakes for another 2 minutes, turning into tremors after that. 4:45 on the green line. We go over about 4:50 on the green line. Tremors, 4:51, the same thing. 4:52, we began to see minor earthquakes, 2.0 large earthquakes. Then about a minute, 3.0 earthquakes again, small earthquakes. What happened after 6:15 on the red line? What happened after 6:15 on the red line? About 6:19, we had tremors. Actually, from 6:15 on, we had tremors here. 6:19, they got larger, 1.3, 1.4. 1.4, 1.5. Within about 2 minutes, we had 1.8, 1.9, 2.0. Then within a matter of 60 seconds, we had 3.0 earthquakes. Look at the bottom and the top of this quake sequence. Look at the bottom and the top of this red earthquake sequence. The agency has cut off the top and the bottom of the sequence. They do not want us to know how strong this earthquake was. This earthquake was at least a 3.0 earthquake, at least. Possibly as strong as a 3.5. 3.5. Why do I know that? After the last 3.0 sequence, the primary wave. After the last primary wave, we have a secondary wave that occurred here. The secondary wave lasts another 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.6. 2.0, 2.6, maybe 2.7. But still 2 minutes of secondary wave. That means this earthquake possibly got as strong as a 3.5 small earthquake. That's normal for Mark Tree, Arkansas. That's completely normal for Mark Tree, Arkansas. We've seen this before. Then 6:30, red line or blue line, nothing. On the next line, which is green, we have tremors up until about 5:50. 5:51, the tremors get a little bit bigger. 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Then we get it to about a minute later, we get a 2.0. Then within about 30 seconds later, that 2.0 turns into 2.5, 2.6. Minor earthquake sequence here, turning into tremors again. Then, after 7:30 on the next blue line, go over to the right. We have a huge tremor sequence lasting over 15 minutes. Then we come over here at 7:45. The tremor sequence lasted over 15 minutes here. Just prior to 7:45, the tremors got even larger. The tremors are building after 7:45 to 7:46. 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes. Then right before 7:47, our first 3.0 earthquake. The rest of this seismic sequence looks about minor earthquakes type of sequence. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes here. Secondary wave lasts about 2.5 minutes. More earthquakes after that. 8:45 on the green line. Tremors building up to 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes there. At 9 a.m. this morning on the black line, more tremors here. Then we jump down here to 10 a.m. on the black line here. Tremors building up to earthquakes on the very far right. Okay? Starting about 9:11 a.m. I'm sorry, 10:11 a.m., 10:12, 10:13, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. Within about a minute, 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes. 3.0, 3 earthquakes, and they don't stop there. This sequence lasts until after 2:15, 2:16 this morning. 2:15, we have 3.0 earthquakes still going on. So now we've had a small sequence of earthquakes going on for over a minute. Over 60 seconds, 70, 80 seconds maybe. Then the seismic sequence toning down again. Going through tiny, small tremors, 2.4, 2.5, 2.7, back down to 2.0, 1.2, 1.3 tremors, and going down, way down after that. This is normal activity at Mark Tree, Arkansas. We talked to Mark Tree, Arkansas people before. I didn't call them today because I've called them before. They felt these earthquakes today, guys. They have felt these small earthquakes here today. Anything over 3.0, 3.5, they feel them. Mark Tree, Arkansas this morning. Guess what? It continues this afternoon. Look at this afternoon. 1:02 p.m. this afternoon on the black line. 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes here. Okay? 1:15 on the red line here. We have tremors building up to 2.3, 2.4, 2.7, 2.8, and then down to just minor earthquake activity from about 2.5 on down to 1.0 tremors. Unreal. Then we had another tremor sequence starting off at 2 p.m. That lasted for another 2 minutes. Mark Tree, Arkansas. Now, guys, I didn't pull this earthquake after 3 p.m. I pulled it prior to that. They may have had some other small earthquakes here at Mark Tree, Arkansas this afternoon. They may have had that. It's happened before, it's going to happen again. That's normal. This is completely normal, guys. This is completely normal. Okay? On the Pneumatic Fault. This is the northeastern side of the Pneumatic Fault here. The northeastern side of the Pneumatic Fault here, guys. That's what's happening here. Okay? This morning and this afternoon. But it's not all, folks. There's more. Ozark Folk Center, Arkansas. North Central Arkansas. This is this morning. This morning, at the beginning of the morning, nothing. Microquakes and tremors here. But what happened late this morning? 11:15 on the red line. 11:15 this morning, this is a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. Then after 11:17 this morning, 1.8, 1.9 tremor, and then building up to 2.0 earthquake. Usually we have had 3.0 earthquakes here before at Ozark Folk Center, north central Arkansas. That's usually what has happened. Today it's a little different, but I still want to show you this. Let's go over to just north of Little Rock, Riverdale, Arkansas. Riverdale, Arkansas, alongside the Mississippi, right on the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault. Okay, what do we have here? Tremors. Lots and lots of tremors here. In the past, we've had 3.0 earthquakes here. Riverdale, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas region. Okay. Riverdale, Arkansas this afternoon, the same thing. Why am I showing you the same thing? We need to know what's going on. Okay. I've shown you this before, I'm showing it to you again. Let's go south of Marktree to Truman, Arkansas. Look what happened here at Truman. Here at Truman, just south of Marktree, we see the same thing that's happening at Marktree. That here at Truman, Arkansas, they mimic or mirror what's happening at Marktree. Up at the top, we have long duration term activity. Some of that activity starts at 1 a.m. this morning again. Then all we see are sporadic tremors until we get down to about 1:50 or 4:15 this morning on the red line. More long duration tremors. Come down here at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. on the black line. Actually, 5 a.m. on the black line. More tremors turning into minor earthquakes. By 5:05 a.m., we have minor earthquakes. 6 a.m. on the black line. Tremors turning into minor earthquakes 2.0. Within 30 seconds, we have 2.6, 2.7. Within a few seconds, we have 2.7, 2.8. Within a few seconds later, we have 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes. 3.0, 3.3 earthquake just after 6 a.m. this morning, right here. This seismic sequence lasts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. 5 minutes of minor tremors, minor earthquakes, and 3.0 sequences here. Okay? 6:15, 6:20 this morning. More tremors turning into minor earthquakes on the red line. Now, we come down here to 7:45 on the left-hand side on the right. 7:56 a.m. this morning. We come over here with tremors, going to the right. Tremors building, just minor tremors, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, building into 1.7, 1.8 tremors here. That tremor sequences continues on the next hour. The next hour. 8 a.m. More tremors building into minor earthquakes again. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes. Then it simmers down to just tremors again. What do we see after 9:45 on the green line? We come over here at about 9:53 a.m. 9:53, we see tremors. 9:54, minor earthquakes. 9:55, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. 2.8, 2.9 by 9:57. Yeah. Then more minor earthquakes. Build down to tremors. Continue at 10 a.m., more tremors. After that, I just believe we have tremors and some minor earthquakes. Truman, Arkansas. Let's move down to Tyrons, Arkansas. This is southeastern Arkansas, along the western shore of the New Madrid Fault. What's going on here? Again, this echoes sometimes what we have seen at Trumann. At 1:15 a.m. this morning on the red line here, 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 1:44 a.m. this morning on the blue line on the right-hand side, 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Then we see a bunch of tremors here. Lots and lots of tremors. Then we see minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.4, 2.5. Then if we jump down here to after 10 a.m. on the black line. Actually, let's go before that. 9:06, 9:07 a.m. this morning on the black line. 3.0 earthquake there. Another 3.0 at 10:09 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake at 10:09 a.m. this morning. Then we have nothing but tremors and minor earthquakes here again. Tyrons, Arkansas. Southern eastern Arkansas. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's go up to Illinois. Let's go up to Illinois. Carbondale, Illinois. We've been showing you earthquakes here in Illinois for quite some time. Carbondale, Illinois, we've had some microquakes and tiny tremors here. Tiny tremors. But before we go to Decatur, I want to show you this. These are tremors here on the northern New Madrid Fault, Illinois. Let's go over here to Decatur. During the past 5 or 6 weeks, we've shown you minor earthquakes and small earthquakes over here in Decatur, Illinois. Look what happened here today. Actually, this is this afternoon. Let me show you this morning. This is this morning. After midnight up here on the top line. Midnight's over on the left-hand side. Over here on the right, this is about 12:11 a.m. this morning. 3.3 earthquake here. Goes off the chart at the top, the seismogram. The bottom of it's cut off. Just seemed like it is now. This is a little bigger than a 3.0 earthquake. So I'm calling it a 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 earthquake here in Decatur, Illinois. It's not the first time, it's many times now. For the past 5 weeks, we've shown this city here. We've had minor earthquakes and small earthquakes here in Decatur, Illinois. Then we have mostly tremors after that until we get down here to 10:30 a.m. Actually, before that, 9 a.m. this morning. Over on the right-hand side on the black line. This is 9:13 a.m. this morning. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here at 9:13 a.m. this morning. 9:14, the same thing. 9:14, the same thing, guys. The seismic energy continues at 9:15 on the red line. 3.0 earthquakes happening here. Then it goes down to minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9, then down to tremors after that. Then we come down here to about 10:30 this morning on the blue line. Prior to that, we've seen some earthquakes and we've seen some tremors, haven't we? We go over here to 10:40 a.m. this morning on the blue line. 3.0 earthquakes here. possibly even 3.3, 3.5 earthquakes here. Notice that they cut the top and the bottom off of this sequence here. At least 3.3, 3.5 earthquakes here in Decatur, Illinois this morning. But it doesn't stop. After 11:04 this morning on the black line on the left-hand side, bottom black line, 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here. This morning, 11:04 this morning. But it doesn't stop. Look what happens after 11:45 on the green line on the left-hand side. About 11:49 this morning, 3.3, 3.5 earthquakes begin. This sequence lasts 1, 2, 3, 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes of small earthquakes sequences here. Upwards of 3.5 earthquakes here. Today, Decatur, Illinois. This is the northern end of the Pneumatic Fault. The northern end of the Pneumatic Fault. Illinois, guys. Illinois. We've seen this happen before. We've seen this happen before. It doesn't stop. Stop. Let's move over this afternoon. Decatur, Illinois this afternoon. Look what happens here, up here at 12 noon. The tremors continue, don't they? Over at approximately 12:07 on the black line. That is a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Then we have a series of 2.0 sequences, minor earthquakes after that. 12:15 on the red line. More tremors here. 12:30 on the blue line. Tremors and minor earthquakes. On the black line, tremors here, possibly even 2.0 earthquakes. 1:32 a.m. or 1:32 p.m. this afternoon, 3.0 earthquake here. 1:32 this afternoon, 3.0, 3.3 earthquake here. Look at this, guys. This is Decatur, Illinois this afternoon. It started with about 5 weeks ago with tremor activity, minor earthquake 2.0, 2.5. Last week and today, 3.0 small quakes, 3.5 small quakes here. The seismic energy has got larger here in the northern part of the Pneumatic Fault. Years ago, we told you this was going to happen. We saw it building. We've seen seismic energy building here in Bloomington, Illinois. Decatur, Illinois. It's happened, guys. It's happened. Up and down the entire Pneumatic Fault, large earthquakes have hit. No, we have not seen a 5.0. I don't think we've seen a 4.0. Actually, we have. We've had one 4.0 in Missouri. Maybe even 4.5 in Missouri. But we have not seen 5.0 activity on the Pneumatic Fault yet. It's going to come. It's going to come. 3 or 4 years ago, you guys were asking me, what's going on with the Pneumatic Fault? I said nothing. Because at the time, all we had were tremors, minor tremors, 1.0, 1.7 tremors. That was it. Then that tremor activity turned into minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.4, 2.5. It's increased. It's increased substantially. Now, minor earthquakes is what we normally see. 2.0, 2.9 minor earthquakes is what we've been seeing. But we've also lately, the past year and a half, been seeing 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes here on the Pneumatic Fault. It's happened. Seismic events have increased here, and the size of the earthquakes have also increased here. We cannot just sit back and say they haven't happened, because they do. Milroy, Illinois, look here. Okay. 6:02 a.m. this morning. 3.0 sequence here. Start off maybe at 2.8. Got up to 3.0 real quick, didn't it? 2 minutes later, 2.9, 3.0. Minute and a half later, 2.0, 2.1. We come over here, minute and a half, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 minutes later, another 2.3 activity. 2.3 earthquake here, Milroy, Illinois. Actually, it's not Illinois, but Indiana. Milroy, Indiana here. Okay. Up until about 6 months ago, USGS had a seismograph at, and I believe it still does, but they're not showing activity at Evansville, Indiana. University of Indiana at Evansville. They shut down the seismograph to the public. We've seen tremors, minor earthquakes, and full-blown 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes in Evansville, Indiana before. 6 months ago, they shut it down. This is the first time we've seen 3.0 activity or even tremor or minor earthquakes here in Milroy, Indiana. This is the first. This means up here in the northern part of this seismic area, New Madrid seismic area, the New Madrid fault is moving here. Real movement up here to the north. Now, let's take you down to the south. Let's go down to DeRidder, Louisiana, in the southern part near the Gulf of America. Here in DeRidder, Louisiana this morning, all we have here are tremors, nothing more. No minor earthquake, just tremors here. The same thing this afternoon. This afternoon here. We don't have any minor earthquakes at all. All we have here are minor tremors. DeRidder, Louisiana. Now, up until this week, the USGS has had one other seismograph that was available, Pioneer, Louisiana. 2 weeks ago, they shut it down. They have reactivated again. Look at this. Here in Pioneer, Louisiana, we have tremors here. Lots and lots of tremors here, mid-morning. 7 o'clock this morning, prior to 7 a.m., we had microquakes. 7 a.m. this morning, we had tremors here. Most of these were long-duration tremor activity here. This is Pioneer, Louisiana. This morning. Guess what? It's continuing this afternoon. Interesting. I know I had another seismograph to show you, but they cut it off. Let's go to Barker Cemetery, Missouri. The central part of the New Madrid Fault, Missouri. Barker Cemetery. In the past 2 months, well, before 2 months ago, all we had here were minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.8 minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.8 minor earthquakes. Lots of them. Now, what I think has happened, the agency has said not to report what's going on. We used to have 10 to 15 minor earthquakes a day. All we are showing here is one minor earthquake. One minor earthquake. This earthquake happened after about 10:37 this morning. 10:37 this morning was a 2.3 earthquake. Yes, we have some tremors here and microquakes, lots and lots of microquakes. But what happened to the minor earthquakes that we had here? 10 to 15 minor earthquakes a day. Now we have one. Again, they don't want to be honest with us at all. They don't want to show us what's going on. Barker Cemetery this afternoon, the same thing. All they're showing here are some minor tremors, nothing more. But guess what? It's not all. Let's go to Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Look at this. All kinds of tremor activity here in Cape Girardeau. It continues day to day, week to week, month to month. These are minor tremors here. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. The same thing happens here this afternoon. Cape Girardeau this afternoon. Up to maybe 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. But they get larger. They get larger. Let's go over to East Prairie, Missouri. Again, the central part of the New Madrid Fault. We've seen more earthquakes here before. They are showing less and less seismic activity here. Yes, we are seeing some microquakes. Yes, we are seeing some tremors here. But in this case, I think we've only seen 2 minor earthquakes here today. Only 2 here today. One after 8, I want to say 8:40 a.m. this morning on the red line. That's it. I'm sorry, 8:24 a.m. this morning on the red line. The other one hit here after 11:14. Actually, 11:13. 2.0 earthquake there. East Prairie, Missouri. 2 weeks ago, we had a bunch of tremors and minor earthquakes and one 3.0. East Prairie, Missouri. Again, they've cut them off. East Prairie, Missouri this afternoon. Here you see a few more tremors and more minor earthquakes. Over here at 2, I want to say 2, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 2:22 this afternoon. 2.4, 2.5 earthquake here. After 2:30 this afternoon. 2:44 this afternoon on the blue line on the right-hand side. This might be a 2.0, if not a 1.89 tremor here. 1.8, 1.9, or 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? Again, they're not showing everything that's going on. They are actually deleting earthquakes here on the New Madrid Fault right in front of us. Yeah. But guess what? Let's go to Portisville. Portisville is right alongside the New Madrid Fault. Look what's happening here. Midnight this morning, 12 midnight. We started with tremors. By 12:01, we have full-blown 3.0 activity, probably larger, probably pushing 3.3. This sequence lasts a minute and a half. Actually, 2.5 minutes. Last 2.5 minutes. The next seismic sequence starts at 12:30 a.m. this morning, right before 12:31. This becomes a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake, then a 3.0 earthquake activity after that. The sequence here lasts just over a minute. Then we have some long duration tremors after about 3 o'clock this morning, 3:13 this morning, 3:16, lasting 13 minutes. Then we jump down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6:31 this morning. 6:31 this morning. 2.7, 2.8, jumping up to 3.0 earthquakes again for about a minute and a half. Then we have a bunch of minor earthquakes, 2.6, 2.7 here. Then after 11, what do we have here? 11. This is about 11:09 this morning on the black line here on the bottom. 3.0 earthquake here, small 3.0 earthquake this morning. Pires, Missouri. Pires, Missouri, guys. We've already had several 3.0 small earthquakes. Several 3.0 earthquakes. One right after midnight, the second after 12:30, the third after 6:30, the fourth after 11:09. Prior to that, we had some minor earthquakes and tremors, didn't we? Lots of them. Pires, Missouri this afternoon. Look at this. Look at this sequence just after 12 noon today. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes after 12 noon. 12:04. 3.5 earthquake here. 3.5 earthquake lasting 3 minutes. 3.5 earthquake lasting 3 minutes here at Pires, Missouri. Then we have tremors. Lots of tremors. 3:04. 4 minutes after 3 p.m. today. 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here. Pires, Missouri. Missouri, guys, the central part of the pneumatic fault. We're seeing the pneumatic fault move in a big way, in a huge way. Now, I want to go over here to Ridgely, Tennessee. This time on the mid-eastern part of Tennessee, the middle eastern part of Tennessee on the pneumatic fault. Ridgely, Tennessee. The past year in Ridgely, Tennessee, we've had 3.0 earthquakes. We've had dozens of minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. We always have a bunch of tremors here. But all morning long here, all we had were tremors here. Ridgely, Tennessee. What happened here this afternoon? (2:43) this afternoon. 3.3 earthquake here. 3.3 earthquake at 2:33 this afternoon, or 2:43 this afternoon. Yeah. This is the center part of the pneumatic fault on the eastern side. Ridgely, Tennessee. We used to see small earthquakes all over the place here in Ridgely, Tennessee. Either they are dusting them off and not showing them on the morning seismogram, or they're completely lying about what's going on. They are either erasing or they're not telling us about nothing. That's a double negative. I meant to say that. That's what USGS has done. Now, let's go east to the Tennessee seismic zone on the east side of Tennessee, east of Nashville. Let's show you Hopper, Tennessee, guys. Look at this. This is the southern side of the eastern continental divide. The southeastern side of the continental divide. What are we seeing here? After midnight, hours and hours of tremors happening here. Just tiny tremors. Then all of a sudden we start seeing some minor 2.0, 2.8 earthquakes here. Then they get larger. They get larger here, guys. What happened here this morning? It's 6:15 this morning. 3.0 small quake. 6:38. 3.0 earthquake. 6:41. 3.0 earthquake. 7:36. 3.0 earthquake. 10:18. 3.0 earthquake on the red line. Then we jump down here to 10:30. 10:41 on the blue line. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 11:54. 11:54. 2.9, 3.0 on the green line on the bottom. The southeastern side of the Tennessee seismic zone on the southern end of the Continental Divide, the Eastern Continental Divide. We saw this happening several weeks ago. We reported it. We've reported it. It's happening, guys. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. Not just that. Martin, Tennessee. Here in Martin, Tennessee, we're seeing nothing but tiny tremors, microquakes, and minor earthquakes. 2.3, 2.4 minor earthquakes, 2.0 earthquakes as well. That's it. The eastern side of the Continental Divide, the southeastern side of the Continental Divide here. Martin, Tennessee. They have Tennessee State University here in Martin, Tennessee. That's who's recording these earthquakes. We're seeing it here. We've been reporting this, guys. We've been reporting all kinds of seismic activity here. Do we have any questions? I keep getting questions. What's going on with the pneumatic fault? I just got through showing you what's happening on the pneumatic fault. It's plain and simple. The pneumatic fault is moving. Yes, last week I showed you material showing you that the USGS and the other agencies are deleting earthquakes. Today I show you more earthquakes. I believe they're still deleting earthquakes here on the pneumatic fault because they keep happening. They keep happening. They try to not tell us what's going on. Guys, I've been on the pneumatic fault itself. I've driven east or west to east on the pneumatic fault, over the pneumatic fault. On Interstate 40. On Interstate 40 from Little Rock to Nashville. From Little Rock to Nashville. Or actually Memphis. Sorry, Memphis. From Little Rock to Memphis over the fault. There were earthquakes happening. We've been showing those earthquakes. 4 years ago. 4 years ago, after I had already been over the fault, a canoeist was on the Mississippi River, looking up on the piling coming off of Interstate 40, going down into the mud of the river. He noticed a huge crack in the piling, a huge crack in the steel. He reported it. The Tennessee Highway Department closed down 2 lanes east or westbound on Interstate 40. They closed 2 lanes of westbound Interstate 40 at Memphis. They repaired that piling. They fixed it. Why is it happening? Because there is movement on the New Madrid Fault. They don't want us to know it. They do their best to hide it. But the movement is happening on the center part of the New Madrid Fault, and it's also happening from the southern side at the Gulf of America, going north into Illinois and Indiana. It's happening. I show it to you today. It happens every day. I could do nothing but report on the New Madrid Fault every day. Guess what? I did not report on earthquakes on the East Coast. Earthquakes in Georgia. Earthquakes in South Carolina. Minor earthquakes and small earthquakes in South Carolina. Minor and small earthquakes here in North Carolina. Minor earthquakes and small earthquakes in Virginia, West Virginia as well. Tennessee, minor earthquakes. I'm sorry, not Tennessee, Pennsylvania, minor earthquakes. New York, minor earthquakes. Massachusetts, minor earthquakes. Up and down the entire fault line. What's going on? As I reported to you, the mid-Atlantic fault is expanding like this, putting pressure, pushing Africa and Europe in an easterly direction. At the same time, it's pushing the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Greenland in a southwesterly direction. That's what's happening. That's why we're having these earthquakes on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. That's why we're seeing earthquakes here on the East Coast. That's why we're seeing earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. Texas as well. Nacogdoches, Texas. Minor earthquakes there today. Yeah. It's happening. Jose Estrada says back in 2024 in April or May, a tsunami alert between 2 dams, one 20 miles, Berryessa Dam, other further away, that Oroville Dam, many don't know below that, Sacramento, all west, south, marked out, evacuate. Yes, it happened. We reported on it. We reported on the water that's gone into the Oroville Dam. We reported on the wall, the great big huge gate that held the water in the Oroville Dam, and it collapsed. We reported on the flooding there in Oroville, California. We spoke to the sheriff. I interviewed the sheriff on this program. Whenever we have an earthquake like that, or we have a dam collapse anywhere, we had a dam collapse east of Los Angeles. The Army Corps of Engineers said it was going to collapse, and it did. It flooded out parts of LA, parts of eastern LA. I believe now that the Army Corps of Engineers have fixed that dam. But what did we see last year? Pacific Palisades burned down because of the mayor of Los Angeles and the governor Newsom. Now, my wife keeps saying, don't call him Newsom. I'm going to continue calling him Newsom until he gets better, until he decides to tell the truth. Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass in LA have absconded with all kinds of money. We're talking millions, possibly billions of dollars. How about that train to nowhere? President Trump just cut off the money to that train. What happened to it? The tracks didn't even get built because Newsom absconded with the money. How about all the money for homeless? I believe it was $200 million to homeless in Los Angeles. Homeless all over California. What happened to it? Newsom and Mayor Bass took it. What happened to the millions of dollars that was raised from the fire after the fire in Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles? What happened? Nobody's even rebuilt in Los Angeles and Pacific Palisades. Why? Because Bass and the governor have absconded with the money. At some point in time, those politicians will have their heads roll in a basket because they have stolen money from the people of California. What's happened to the state of California? Oil refineries from Northern California by the Bay Area all the way down to Los Angeles have closed down. Oil refineries have left California for Texas because Newsom's oil policies. Newsom's policies for finding oil refineries. Not just finding them, but taking tax money from the oil refineries, upping the tax money because he wanted electric vehicles. He wanted electric vehicles and the oil refineries kept putting out oil. He wanted to stop. So he started finding oil companies. They've now left California. Newsom now has to import oil from the Middle East and Venezuela and China, of all places. Yeah. Newsom has to import oil in California because of his own policies, running California into the dirt. That's one reason why I left back in 2010. I got out of California before Newsom. I saw it happening. Prices continued to rise. I could no longer work as a police officer in the city of San Diego on police wages. Couldn't live there any longer. Taxes kept happening, higher and higher taxes, and even that, more rents. Cost of groceries, cost of everything skyrocket. I left and went to Colorado. I moved to Salt Lake City. Then I moved to North Carolina. Got out of the high prices areas. Okay, price is going to continue going up as long as we allow those politicians to be in power. That's what happened. Now, guys, I've talked earlier about Nancy Guthrie. I hope and pray we find her some point in time very soon. She deserves to be found. Her family deserves to have her back. I reported that she was finding out information that some medical companies didn't want to go out. She's found discrepancies in the evaluations of money coming from the federal government in the medical companies all over the United States. The president of one of those companies left the company. All of a sudden, she disappears. And what disappears with her? The hard drive from her computer. Yeah. Kidnapping by a good woman. Of a good, not by, but of a good woman. Hurricane Heather says she wants a devotional. I've got a devotional for you. Tonight's devotional comes from the 9th chapter of Luke. Now I'm going back to the first part of the chapter. Christ appeared to Saul. Saul is a chosen vessel. He's a chosen vessel. Ananias restores Saul's sight. He's baptized and begins his ministry. Peter heals Enos, raises Dorcas from death. Down here in the 9th chapter, and Saul yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, and went unto the high priest, desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, if he found any of this his way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came across near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. A light from heaven. What happened? Christ. He fell to the earth. Saul heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? He said, Who art thou, Lord? The Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me do? Remember that question? What do you think the Lord would have us do? The Lord said unto Saul, Arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. Brothers and sisters, liken the scriptures unto ourselves. Liken the scriptures unto ourselves. Why? The Lord is revealing unto us what he wants us to do. Don't persecute Jesus Christ. Don't persecute other people. Don't persecute our Father in heaven. Go and open your mouths to people that need our help. Open your mouths to people that need help from Jesus Christ. Open your mouths and open up and tell them about the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's what the Lord wants from us. That's what the Lord wants from us. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I ask God to bless you this day and always. Always. May God bless you and be with you this night and forever. If you need healing, may God bless you with healing of your body and soul. Those of us who are infirm, may God bless us this night to regain our health, our strength, and to be able to bless members of our family and our friends around us. May God be with us this day and always. I pray this every day. My wife and I pray for the entire EMA family, our family and friends all around us. May God be with you. I humbly ask. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. See you soon. Good night.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.